Hello, everyone. Today's topic is contentment. And one beautiful thing that I discovered, I realized coming into the spiritual knowledge and starting my spiritual practices and meditation, is that the innate nature of the soul, the innate nature of the true self is one of contentment. When we are in the natural state of awareness, in the natural state of consciousness, then fun, joy, contentment is natural. When one is aware of the self as an immortal, divine, spiritual being, a benevolent being who just comes into this physical world to play a part, to act out a role, to play the game of human life. When one is in that awareness and one remembers God in an obvious way, in a way that feels like there is a right and a bond and a timeless relationship, when one is aware of the home of the soul world, and has that vivid experience of being at home when withdrawing from the sense experiences, then the whole game in the physical world becomes like an extra fun. And in that state of awareness, contentment is natural. Contentment because of who we truly are, invisible, imperishable, benevolent beings of consciousness, souls, who we belong to, the Supreme Soul, and a family of benevolent beings of soul, who are souls, where we belong, that home, and we have come here to play the game. And so the game is a very, what is the word? Intricate game, sophisticated game, a very special game with all kinds of dynamics. You have to use the intellect to play this game. It works on your emotions, your actions, your words, everything in this game counts. So it is quite a advanced game, better than any of the video games ever invented. But even to play and to play game is part of the nature of the soul. So when we are in the spirit of game, then life situations are not approached from ego perspective. Because ego within us, false identifications, confusion within our psyche that has come in over time, cannot take the game. Ego takes offense, ego feels threatened, ego is always in the victim mode or the beggar mode or the needy mode. And so for ego, every situation is a problem. And it becomes very difficult to maneuver in this game of human life when there are big egos. And contentment is impossible. And so when we drop the egos and when we come back to that natural state of awareness of the self as a soul, contentment becomes natural. Situations are seen as an opportunity to step up your skills to play the game better, to break your own records and to do better. But ultimately, when the game is over, the being of consciousness, the soul, just returns home. And so the ultimate method to stay in that state of contentment is to have that power of spiritual awareness, that power that helps of spiritual knowledge that helps you see things in the right way from that perspective of an invisible player, an invisible actor, invisible observer. From that perspective of game, contentment is natural when we disidentify with everything that is perishable. When we disidentify even with the part that we play. Someone may say something or do something towards Rona, maybe fair or unfair, but it is part of the game of life. And if we can take it in that spirit, it is always a fun. How can I come out of this anger? How can I deal with this situation in a benevolent way? How can I use this situation to become stronger? Of course, you need spiritual knowledge and understanding. And the practice of meditation will make this more and more easy. And then there will be that natural inner smile and also outer smile. Okay, so let's have some few minutes to reinforce that spiritual awareness of life as a game and spiritual identity of the self as a living light, full, complete, innately content. So as always, let us aim to keep the body comfortable. Just allow yourself to get into that mood of relaxation, physically, but also mentally. There's no need to raise all the time in our head. And if we raise in our head, of course, our mouth, what we speak will follow, and of course, body will also follow. Let's just give the self permission to, for the coming few minutes, not focus on the external. And to become aware of the invisible dimension. Yes, there are objects. Yes, there is a body. There are interactions and things going on, time and change. But just get into that awareness that there is an invisible experiencer and that is the real self. one who is experiencing the bodily sensations, one who is using the eyes to see, one who is creating thoughts, one who is experiencing certain feelings and emotions, the invisible, timeless being of light, the soul. We just come into this awareness. The real self is this benevolent, living light. And it helps to keep in mind a certain image of a star and fill the mind with that image of tiny star of light, living light. And all those images of life, human life and bodies and movement, just keep them far in the distance and as if down below. That is drama. That is the play, the game. But now we just want to focus on the invisible player. One who is imperishable, living light. And just see with a certain amazement, we normally don't realize that the invisible dimension is very real. And our existence at that invisible level is very, very real. But we don't pay attention. We allow the ego to take over, and the ego is obsessed with the visible dimension. Always thinking and expecting and desiring things that are perishable. And desiring and neediness is the opposite of contentment. Expectations and demanding is the opposite of contentment. So more one moves into that ego-based mode of consciousness, further away from contentment. Drop the ego. Easiest and the best strategy for contentment. Play the game of human life with zero ego. And then there will be a constant inner smile and outer smile. Just try and grasp that state of innocence. That state of pure benevolence. Just try and grasp that mind that is egoless and therefore without fear. Without desires, without expectations, at ease, in peace, and purely loving. And so maybe we can aim to hold this spirit of gain and hold the awareness of the self as an invisible, imperishable player. Thank you and have a good day.